Hey guys, it's Dr. Steve here again, and I want to talk about nutrient timing a little bit because there's a lot of misinformation that's out there about when and how to eat regarding macronutrients. And the first thing I want to talk about is insulin sensitivity. We're told, oh, you want to break your fast in the morning. Yes, no, it's not exactly the best way to do things. So you're taught that since we're insulin sensitive in the morning, that you want to eat your carbohydrates in the morning and have the energy throughout the day. The problem with that lies in that your muscle is insulin sensitive and the fat tissue. So you're going to feed the fat. The reality is that if you can lower your insulin responses in the morning, that would mean that your growth hormone will be higher and your cortisol will be higher. Cortisol mobilizes triglycerides to be burned as fat. Growth hormone preserves muscle mass. So in the morning, you're in the best fat burning zone. Why would you ever want to break that? It just doesn't make any sense. Then, not to mention, you should be training in a fasted state because acetylcholine will be higher, which means you get better motor control, better muscle contraction. It just makes more sense. So let's take this a step further. After you train, your muscles are more insulin sensitive. That means that the fat tissue will be less insulin sensitive. So therefore, that would be the optimal time to eat your carbohydrates, is after you train, in the afternoon. So taking that all into perspective here now, we're having our carbohydrates in the evening. Another reason to have the carbohydrates in the evening, besides the fact that your muscle tissue is more insulin sensitive and the fat tissue is insulin sensitive, is that nighttime carbohydrates increase serotonin and dopamine, which is going to help you sleep. So now we can take that even further and we can say, hey, let's look at insulin sensitivity that's created in this muscle tissue. Why is it so much more sensitive? And it's more sensitive because of the fact that it increases GLUT4 reception, which means we don't even need insulin to utilize glucose. So this is a case even for diabetes, where that would be the best time for a diabetic to eat, is after they train. The muscle insulin sensitivity is going to be higher, and less of the fat's going to store that. So they don't even need the insulin because they're not producing it to utilize glucose. That would be optimal. So let's take it one more hint here, and I'm going to talk about sugar and fructose. And fructose is what's in our fruit, and it's also what's in some table sugar. It's 50-50 ratio with sucrose. And you wouldn't want to have that over 30 grams a day because fructose is predisposition to be stored as fat due to the fact that it has to be processed by the liver if you're not under your caloric needs. If you're over caloric needs, it has a higher prevalence to be stored as fat. So you'd want to keep your fructose under 30 grams a day. That would be the equivalent of maybe 2 grams of fruit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have our carbohydrates in the evening after we train, not in the morning, because our hormones are set up optimally to be that way. And I know some of you are saying, oh, well, there's no such thing as essential carbohydrates and fats. There's essential fats and there's essential amino acids. And yeah, that's true. But we want to spike our insulin. It's going to increase your T3 uptake or T3 output. And it's also going to have other positive effects besides just increasing our T3, like increased leptin. Leptin tells our body it's okay to burn fat. So now let's go one step further, and we're going to go into the keto diet, and that's big fad. Everybody's big hype right now. And the keto diet is optimal for burning fat. The problem is that your body's going to stall doing that. The keto diet is really only for disease populations. The research shows it, and it just is that way. So if you had seizures or cancer, or you want to increase your insulin sensitivity for a short time, there's a need for it. But long term, you won't meet your weight loss goals. It's not what you're looking for. So let's recap all this. We're going to get up in the morning. We're going to have proteins and fats. We're going to have proteins and fats again. We want to have protein because it's going to give us some amino acids, and the fat's going to lower our insulin response. So then the night after we train, due to the GLUT4 increase in the muscle tissue, we're going to utilize more glucose, so we want to have that at night, and we're going to sleep better that way. So that's the way that I would structure your diet. to be optimal, to help you be the healthiest person you could possibly be. Hopefully that helps you guys a little bit. You can always reach me at protouchrehab.com or reach me at my Facebook page, and you can find that at Pro Touch Rehab or Dr. Steve Spencer. I hope you guys got some value out of this video.